We started with a team of 5 in 2012. We are in 2025 with close to 800 people team. We always focus on deeper expertise, amazing experience, and definitely growth and numbers are in our daily tracker. But that's not what we ask the team to work upon. We are fortunate enough to work with a lot of agencies across the globe. That gives us an amazing landscape to constantly learn from thought leaders across the globe. I'll only take an example of the QBR approach we have taken, right? We work with a brand called ScreenDollar. We have them as a client from 4 years now. And when they started, entire thing was very different. And when we see the journey of 4 years, things has evolved so much. What has helped us is this QBR, these regular checkpoints. So QBR also helps us to make sure that we are going on a quarterly review meetings. We are committing certain success, certain results, certain metrics. Next quarter, we're gonna go again to those meetings and we need to be answerable about those metrics, what we have committed.
Hi Nital, thank you so much for doing this for me today. As I was telling you that I came across our story on how we grew from 2012 all the way to 25, and I wanted you to share that story, but I don't want to be selfish and listen to it all alone. I want everyone else to get that opportunity to hear that story. So here we are, and thank you so much for doing this for us today.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear how we grew from our journey and what our journey has been from 2012 to 25.
Thanks, Risha. Thanks for asking that. And I'm sure I've answered that few times before, but it's one of the questions very close to my heart. So I would take it up again with all the energy. So yeah, journey has been super amazing, very exciting journey with roller coaster, lots of learning. But one thing is constant at Mavlers is our growth mindset. A mindset to always grow, constantly improve, and chase bigger goals. We always been that organization, starting me, my business partner, Jamin, lot of people in leadership team. If you interact with most, you would realize one thing we have in common is that our DNA of growth. That growth mindset is always there ever since we started the business. And that's possibly the reason we started with a team of 5 in 2012. We are in 2025 with close to 800 people team. And irony is even though we talk about growth mindset, but growth doesn't come when you try to work on growth.
True.
Right? Growth doesn't come when you try to chase revenue, when you try to onboard more customers. Growth actually comes when you build super deep expertise in what you do and you deliver amazing experience to every customer you interact with.
That's an interesting point that you brought forth because it sounds a little counterintuitive, no? Generally, we always have these goals that we're keeping for us. So are you saying that that is a part of expertise? Like, what does expertise mean then?
Yeah, so see, I'll come to the expertise part, but
Okay.
basically it's like leading and lagging indicators, right? Growth is your lagging output of all the effort you put, all the leading indicators you work upon. So our mantra at Mavlers is expertise, experience, growth. So whenever we always focus on deeper expertise, amazing experience, and definitely growth and numbers are in our daily tracker. But that's not what we ask the team to work upon, right? That's for us to monitor it on a regular basis to make sure we are progressing forward. But at the core, it's always expertise and that amazing experience.
Giving to the customers, yeah. And that's a fresh new look at the word growth itself, right? Because we've always thought of it as, okay, you put across a number, you chase growth. But it's a good way of looking at how growth is a natural byproduct of our focus on expertise. Then in that case, then can you tell me about what expertise means to us?
So expertise is like, it's a very generic term, right? If we look at it from a broader lens, but it has a lot of depth to it. Whatever we do, how can we master into that? How can we become alpha of that? When we started our business, we set up our business with different ventures focusing on very specific services, very specific problem statements. And we built amazing deeper expertise starting from setting up our processes, practices, checklists, building that domain knowledge, understanding the customer. over time, when we evolve, our service landscape has expanded. So now we offer full service digital support for a lot of marketers around the globe. And we are fortunate enough to work with a lot of global agencies across the globe. That gives us an amazing landscape to constantly learn from thought leaders across the globe. What practices they follow, what results are like, what strategies are working for them, what results they are able to achieve, and which strategies are not working for them. If they're working on different specific industries like B2B, B2C, it could be e-commerce, it could be healthcare, then what is their approach to deliver results, and what sort of expertise they build in their strategic approach. And expertise is a constant thing. We always ensure that we are attending all the conferences to be ahead of the curve, to adopt all the advanced technologies and techniques. We always make sure that when we are working with these agencies, we absorb as much as we can, and we also pass it on across the team. Because a lot of time what happens is, team working in US for one agency, they have some amazing learnings, some deeper expertise into SEO, that how SEO is evolving and how now GPTs of the world are changing that landscape. Now, how can we articulate that knowledge fast enough across the team so that even our customer in Australia is getting that benefit of the constantly changing landscape in our industry? So yeah, I always say expertise is a constant thing. It's a mindset to have that continuous improvement in what you do and going deeper and deeper to your best ability.
I know you mentioned that, with great expertise is how we are able to translate into amazing experiences for our client. And before we even jump there, I would love for you to touch upon this point that you told about the transferring of this expertise. How are we able to do that so that it drives that growth, as you mentioned?
I think it's like a lot to do with the culture, right? It's that mindset, like we talk about growth mindset at a leadership level. That culture of sharing that knowledge, that culture of collaboration, because 800 people team, everyone works remotely. People works in different time zones for different geographical clients. But then how do we manage that central repository of the knowledge we cater, the strategies we have seen working for brands, for different industries, right? And how can we pass on that knowledge across the team? So I think when team gets into that collaborative approach of sharing the knowledge, sharing their successes, we have our like weekly team catch-ups, we have our departmental all hands, we have our company level all hands. These platforms helps us to ensure that how can we spread all those success stories, definitely keeping the brand and their confidentiality aside, but the practices, the approach, what has worked, that's not an IP of any individual brand or industry. That's the knowledge we cater. So we spread that around so that even someone working in one particular geo, one particular time zone is also aware and across of what's happening across the world, at least for the brands we are interacting with, at least for all the agencies we are working with.
It's a very it's a great lens to use when it comes to that adaptability factor, and maybe that is at the heart of our business, our customer centricity, that ethos. I would love for you to talk a little more on that customer centricity aspect of it.
I was going to come to that because building an expertise is definitely a unidirectional approach, right? You can build amazing deeper expertise, but unless and until you cannot articulate it out and align that to customer success, right, those expertise doesn't have any tangible impact. So customer centricity is at our core, and I would love to define that, how we approach that. So for us, understanding any customer entering our ecosystem is not about just understanding who they are, what they do. It's about, we go deep, understanding their persona, their role as an individual, what are their success factors looks like, and what are their success factor in their role, and what are the success factor for that brand. then we ensure that holistically any channels we pick, be it SEO, be it performance media, be it programmatic, be it email marketing, marketing automation, we ensure that all our strategy across all channels are getting aligned to their success factor. Mapping of our strategies, matching to their success factor is very crucial. Otherwise, we may have built an amazing, deeper expertise, but if our actions are not getting aligned to their success, then it's not gonna work. So that sits at our core, and it's not a one-time exercise, right? When we onboard any customer, we go through a deeper brainstorming session of understanding their business, aligning our strategies, and aligning our actions and campaigns to their success factors. But then that's a quarterly exercise for us. So we are in a practice of doing we call it QBR, quarterly business review meetings. And what these QBRs are, once in a quarter, we go again in a deeper conversation with customers to ensure whatever we have done in last quarter, was all those activities and strategies has yield results or not? Was that aligned to their success factors and their business goals or not? And if it is not, that QBR gives us a platform to ensure, do that deeper introspection and understand and realize what has worked for us and what hasn't worked and which areas we need to improve upon. This also gives a platform to the customer that a lot of time, possibly the success factors they have defined or the direction they have articulated to us at the beginning of the campaign is not static. We all live in a dynamic world, so it keeps changing. So this QBR also gives a platform for us to re-verify that are their success factors same as what we discussed? Are their business goals same as what we discussed? And that reassurance that, okay, whatever strategy we're gonna move forward next quarter has to be aligned again with their success factors. So experience is, in early days, we used to say like, okay, let's deliver amazing experience. Let's deliver amazing experience. Wow factor, right? But in very early days of the business, we didn't have a clue. There was a intention, but the how was not clear. But when we started taking this approach of keeping customer at center, keeping their success and their goals at center, and ensuring all our activities, campaigns, and strategies are aligned to that, and actually contributing to that, that's where we actually started able to achieve results and give impact. So yeah, deeper expertise, unidirectional, it's not gonna work, but deeper expertise, keeping customer centricity at center would help us to deliver amazing experience, and then growth is the byproduct.
Thank you so much for walking me through that journey, because coming from the hospitality industry, that was one thing that you touched on, this wow factor. Everyone wants that wow factor. How do we go about it? And just to make things tangible, I'm actually known this entire 2-3 videos we shot with the team, and everywhere I'm like, can you give me some example? Can you give me some examples? So now I'm going to ask you the same thing. Can you give me an example of how this proactive touch, like QBR is one thing that you said. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about which contributes to that wow experience that we deliver to the client?
No, I think it's constantly evaluating what we are doing and how it is getting aligned. I'll only take an example of the QBR approach we have taken, right? We work with a brand called ScreenDollar. What they do is they you go to movies, and in between your movies you see those ads.
Yes.
Right? ScreenDollar is a brand which advertise in US theaters in between movies, and they have rights for those ad slots. We have them as a client from 4 years now, and when they started, the objective was different, our approach strategy was different, the way we were trying to solve their problem, the way we were trying to achieve their goals, entire thing was very different. And when we see the journey of 4 years, things has evolved so much. And now if you look back, if you would not have evolved, let's say if you would have assumed that this approach, this strategy, this channels is gonna give them results, possibly we would have not retained that customer or grown that customer. But what has helped us is this QBR, these regular checkpoints. It's actually not always for the customer. it's equally important to keep ourselves and our team give that chase, because a lot of time it's like, okay, customer has those goals, but how we can make ourselves accountable. So QBR also helps us to make sure that we are going on a quarterly review meetings.
Yeah.
We are committing certain success, certain results, certain metrics. Next quarter, we're gonna go again to those meetings, and we need to be answerable about those metrics what we have committed.
Yeah.
So I think it's a two-way sword, but it works in our favor.
Definitely.
For customer, it's a success, it's win. We stay aligned, we stay focused, and they see constant improvement quarter over quarter.
And for us, it is growth, which happens. But I think even the point where, you know, coming from the team perspective, wherever you are in close connect with almost all of our clients, a lot of our clients at least, right? And to the point where we've started a marketing insider series because of the questions that you've been hearing from them, because of the problems that they have been facing. And I think that has also contributed to our expertise, because I'll just talk about like my experience with this. So you went and met with a few of our customers and clients, and you learned that the market has certain gaps, and immediately your thought process was, how do we fix this gap? And that's how the marketing insider series was birthed. And now we're having these Q&A sessions with people, and that skill set is also translating into our own journey, like the one that we had with benefits, where we were talking about the customer value optimization with Valentin Radu. And even we started thinking on that lens. Or with Jessica, where you were talking about how CRO is the new CMO.
Yeah.
Our internal focus is also shifting in that sense. And I see that expertise translate as part of those genomes that build our DNA.
Yeah, and like you learn from the market, you
Yeah.
learn from customers, you learn from your external interaction.
True.
We learn always more being in the market. So that's always the preferred approach of our team attending conference globally across all the time, depending on which service they are focusing upon. So the search leader would make sure that they are attending all the search conferences, and attending conferences now you can do virtually online as well. But when you go actually out, right, when you interact, when you meet colleagues, when you see industry thought leaders, and when you hear them in person, and when you interact them over networking events, right, it brings you different level of realization of, okay, how up to speed you are in your capabilities and expertise you hold, and what are those gaps, and how you can overcome those gaps fast enough. So I think customer interaction and being in the market is crucial, especially when we are serving global customers and global brands around the world. So I think, yeah, that's throughout all these years, that's one thing which has been helping us big time.
Thank you so much, Nital. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but thank you so much for sharing that story with us and that insight into our mantra, as you called it, of expertise, experience, and growth. And
Great to share that, and always very passionate about expertise, experience, growth.
Yes.
And with my team, I always say we talk about expertise, we talk about experience.
growth is just a byproduct.
Thanks everyone. Thank you, Risha.